Here comes a new challenger!
Hello everyone, and in this video I'm going to be doing a top 5 of, well, gameplay mechanics I'd like to see changed for Ultimate. This is my personal opinion, and even though I'm not no pro player or anything, I just want to give out my ideas on what I'd like to see changed for the game, because as you can no doubt tell, I love Ultimate. I love it a lot. I love Smash, because it brings all my favorite franchises together, and, well, I mean, why not? Let's give it a shot. I want to make a video on this, and you know what? Even though my words probably won't go out, at least I can try to say what I want improved, right? Other than things like offline, of course. We're just talking strictly gameplay. So let's get started. Alright, starting off in no particular order, we have spot dodge cancel. Now this is something you've probably heard a lot of people talk about, but it's pretty simple. So with rolls, they have some lag to them. And once your roll's over, you can get punished. Along with spamming rolls, your rolls will essentially become slower, thus becoming easier to punish. However, there is one little thing known as spot dodge that kind of goes against what rolls are really meant to do. And, well, here's the problem. You can cancel your spot dodge with any other animation before it even finishes the entire animation. Mind you, by the time Mario finishes his animation, I could have already moved, which is a problem. Generally, this means that you can throw out a pretty non-committal option after a spot dodge. It's generally why you'll see a lot of people spot dodge down smashing and getting away with it at times. Obviously, online they'll get away with it even more, but it's still just as probable, and it's one of the reasons why most people will either do one of two things when put back into a corner. And that is either spot dodge constantly, or spot dodge just to do a move, or flicker, right? Because flickering your stick will no doubt lead you to either parry, most likely, or just shield. Either way, you're going to be getting something, and it's not most times getting hit. So because of that, generally spot dodges, I feel, need to be a bit more punishable, because unless you predict that your opponent's going to go for a move, there's not really much you can do unless you're a character with pretty good, you know, like a sword, for instance. If you have a sword, you can easily punish regardless of whether or not they do a move or run away. Even if they shield, if you know how to space properly, it'll basically be plus. So yeah, it's definitely an issue there. Of course, many people have already talked about it, but still, I just wanted to bring it up. Alright, next up is wave landing. This is pretty simple. Alright, it goes as follows. That's it, you know? And of course, if you do it as low as you can, you get that slide. The thing is, it's kind of laggy. And obviously, you can't really do it that close to the ground, no matter how hard you try. So there's no wave dashing. However, wave landing on platforms, like, they kind of give it to us, but it's not really all the way there. I feel like you should definitely get less lag when landing on a platform when doing something like this. If the game should be able to detect how close you are to the opponent, maybe, you know, that's just my personal opinion. Or not to the opponent, sorry, the platform. I got distracted there for a second. But the game should be able to detect that. Maybe, you know, I'm not a developer after all, but still, having the ability to, like, waveland, having a little less lag would definitely open up options. And of course, whilst I don't want this game to essentially be melee, of course I want this game to have its own identity, which it does have that. I feel like having that be something that characters can have access to can definitely open up a lot of possibilities for characters in terms of movement and whatnot. I don't know, that's just my personal opinion, but I feel like if you do a wave land, right, if you air dodge close enough to a platform, it should definitely be lagless, because I mean, otherwise you're really just doing this if you say put them on a platform, right? Say I hit Luigi, poor Luigi here. I'm just gonna do this and just to bait out an option, whether it's a get up attack or roll or whatnot, whatever, you know, it's essentially just a punish for them not teching. But yeah, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Of course, you can let me know your guys' in the comments below, of course. Next up, of course, is the buffer system. in a sense, the buffer system is really just there to help players, but it causes more harm than good. Obviously, one of the main things people will talk about is that when you try to go for a full hop aerial, sometimes you might get a short hop aerial. Because some combos, like for instance with Greninja, I believe it's dash attack or down throw fair, is true, but only if you get the, full hop fair, which is an issue because you have to be frame perfect to do that. Whereas in previous Smash games, it would be no issue for someone to be able to do that. Or for instance, a character like Violet, who has Nair strings, Nair loops essentially, he would be able to essentially use Nair as a combo tool and carry someone across the stage if he had access to his full hops. Obviously, there was a workaround with instant double jump, and whilst instant double jump is good for some characters, and in fact in most cases, or not most cases, but in some cases, better than just doing a full hop aerial, that doesn't apply to all characters. And the problem with instant double jumping is that it's essentially a tech that was used to work around the game's bad gameplay mechanics. I feel like that definitely needs fixing. Obviously, people say turn off the buffer system as like an option, but maybe just remove short hop attacks or just fix the buffer system in some way, shape, or form, because obviously there's gonna have problems with that. I mean, this also goes with air dodges. Obviously, you've probably air dodged once or twice before, and sometimes you probably accidentally spot dodge when you didn't really mean to, or you spot dodge because you tried teching, but after you tried teching, you essentially spot dodge right afterwards, causing you to lose your stock. That can happen to a player, no matter the skill level, because that's just how the game is, unfortunately. You have to really play around the game's bad gameplay mechanics, and that is an issue. So I feel the buffer system should definitely be removed in order to, better improve the gameplay experience overall. Now for the next thing. Now, obviously, I don't really have, the training mod pack, so I can't really show this, but in one patch, Ryu and Ken, and obviously Terry would have it as well, when they parry a cross-up, they will automatically turn to the opponent if, they were crossed up. So whilst most characters who parry would still be facing forward, Ryu and Ken would automatically turn around, which is pretty impressive, I'd say, to, just give that to a character. Now, I think it's a bit unfair. Obviously, as someone who plays these characters, I love that they have that, but I feel that with parrying, it should be a bit more rewarded. I mean, obviously, against projectiles, it was made a bit better, but the parrying system in itself is already a hassle as it is, and like I said, most people are just going to be flicking their shields just to force a parry anyways. So, make parries harder, but give it more of a reward. I understand that it was something that was given to the, to Shotos and Terry as to give them something unique, but I feel like if every character had that, it would definitely make the game, in my opinion, just a bit better overall. But hey, that's just one man's opinions. Like I said before, let me know in the comments below, but we still have something else to talk about. And before I move on to my final topic, I just want to give a quick honorable mentions or dishonorable mentions to sticky platforms. Honestly, platforms in this game are very weird, and I've had times where I'm just trying to go down the platform, but then sometimes I'll just end up, teabagging by accident. Like, I don't mean to, it's just that for some whatever reason, the platforms are holding me down, and I just don't want to be in that sort of commitment right now. This has also led to some issues with shield dropping through platforms. I think in this game you can't actually do them, unlike in Smash 4 or Brawl, I believe, where it wasn't like the easiest thing, but it was possible. Whereas in this game, I don't think it's possible anymore. From what I remember, I remember so many YouTubers talking about how it's just not, or even top players saying that it's basically just impossible to do. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know, maybe it's something with the platforms in itself, but either way, that's definitely an issue that needs to get resolved. Hopefully someday soon, but we'll see. And for this final thing, this may be something you yourself may heavily disagree with, and that's ledgehogging. Now, I know ledgehogging, definitely not a looked greatly mechanic. Obviously, if you know what it is in Brawl, Melee, it was essentially you grab the ledge and your opponent couldn't grab the ledge afterwards, you essentially were hogging the ledge. Now, Obviously, not a lot of people like that, and that's why ledge trumping existed, where, you know, if you grab the ledge, your opponent can simply grab it off of you, and, well, you can get hit with a backer or whatnot. And that's fine and dandy like cotton candy, but I feel like there's a way we could mix in these two things. So, when you grab the ledge, you have brief invincibility period. You also do not get this back after multiple rage jumps, and for normal ledge grabbing, you can grab the ledge up to 8 times. I think after the 8th, like on the 8th time, as you saw there, you cannot re-grab the ledge no matter how hard you try. For tether recoveries, they have an even smaller limit of 3. After 3 tether grabs on the ledge, you try for a 4th, you're not going to be able to grab that ledge. So be mindful of that. But with that being said, I feel like, as I said, ledge trumping could really be something of sort of like, oh, you know, how do I put it this way? Like, ledge hogging, I feel, like I meant to say ledge hogging, could definitely be utilized in the sense that during your invincibility period, your opponent cannot grab the ledge once you hold on to it, and they can only ledge trump you after your invincibility wears off, which I feel would kind of add a certain dynamic, right? Let's say you knock your opponent off. The safer option would be to ledge trump, but to ledge hog, but if your opponent knows how to stall out their recovery with their character or whatever, or whatnot, something like that, then you run the risk of getting ledge trumped and possibly even taken aback here. That's why I think that if a character gets ledge trumped, they should go through even greater bits of lag for a easier punish, such as with a back air, for instance. So, in a sense, there's this sort of thinking that has to go on, right? Obviously, we all know that ledge trumping is already strong enough as is. Alright, characters like Mario here can easily grab the ledge just like that without needing to do that, right? And in the case of Mario, there's even a benefit to doing this, something like this, because then they'll get hit out and they'll kind of like, because of how cape works, it's so instantaneously that you're not really going to react to this as you would a ledge slip, right? And ledge slips in themselves are, you know, I mean, they're possible, but you may mess it up here and there. After all, there is stress that you have to deal with when playing in a tournament, though those aren't really happening anytime soon, so enjoy online before offline comes back, essentially is what I'm getting at. But still, the ability to essentially have this sort of, you know, thought process of like, should I, shouldn't I, should I just go for an edge guard instead, because if I go for an edge guard, I may be able to close out the stock and not have to worry about ledge trumping. Obviously, when it comes to characters who are really good at ledge trapping, they won't really have to worry about that. Obviously, like a character like Ken, for instance, doesn't really have the greatest of edge guarding, and well, if Ken, for instance, were to go for a ledge trump, and could get a backer, because backer is incredibly strong, you would obviously have a better chance at ledge trapping, so this wouldn't really affect those kinds of characters like Mac, who really rely on two-framing you, obviously. And with that, I feel like two-framing in itself should be made a bit easier for some characters, not all characters, but for some characters that really abuse the ledge. Characters like Pyro, for instance, can do some really degenerate stuff because of things like up B. You've all seen it, right? Up B to ledge constantly. That sort of stuff is pretty degenerate. And with that, I feel like if you re-grab the ledge multiple times doing something like that, whatever option you take will cause you a bit of lag. If you jump, obviously you'll get punished for jumping. It's really all that simple. However, if you did like a normal get up attack, or a roll, you should definitely be more punished depending on how many times you re-grab the ledge, because that's just some degeneracy right then and there. But I feel having this sort of like mix between ledge hogging and ledge trumping would definitely make the game, I feel, a bit more unique, and it's something that no other Smash game has, which would definitely give Ultimate a bit more of its own unique identity. So yeah, those are my thoughts, those are my opinions, that's my top 5. And, you know, let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Of course, you know, we all have things to say. I know, like I said earlier in the video, I'm not a pro player or anything. I'm just a guy with ideas. And, you know, even though I'm not, like, that crazy or anything, you know, I like to give out thoughts, you know, ideas. Even if it sounds dumb, I still want to give out ideas. With that being said, I might make a sequel to this video, but I doubt it, because there's not really much else I want to talk about in terms of gameplay mechanics that wasn't already covered in a fantastic video, which I will leave down in the description below. But with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please take care of yourselves, and as always, have an amazing rest of your day. Let's get to 1,000 subs before the end of the year. Peace.